Good evening, good afternoon, or good morning, depending on where you are in the world. Welcome to the second week, the second episode of Backstage Live. I am here in Dallas with Tycho. You guys know Tycho. She's my girlfriend. She'll be sitting by, throwing in some insulting comments here and there for our lovely guest today. But yeah, we have a great show for you guys tonight. The guy that we have today is really, really cool. He's very, very outgoing, and he has a lot of funny jokes. He's very creative on social media, super talented. Give me 1 second. I think we have a little bit of feedback. Oh, maybe that's just me, my microphone. Oh, just for you guys in the chat, please let me know how the audio is going, because I'm trying out a new wireless microphone audio system tonight. So make sure if there is a little bit of feedback, let me know. I can change that up a little bit if we need to, just to make sure that everything is flowing nicely for you guys. But I want to check, how is everybody doing tonight? How is the crowd? How is quarantine going? Everybody doing good? Is anybody working? Welcome to our chat. We have Cobrat in the house, Lonnie Pitts. Nice to see you guys. So yeah, the quarantine's been going good for us. A few things that I've learned about the quarantine is, like, one of the things I learned is that puzzles still exist. I don't remember the last time I played a puzzle. It was probably like when I was 8 years old. I didn't know they still made puzzles, but apparently they still make puzzles, and they're selling off the shelves. Even my brother went to get, my stepbrother went to go get one today, and they were all sold out. I'm like, how do you sell out of puzzles? That's really a thing? Apparently that's going on. So anyway, yeah, puzzles, huh? That's I can't remember the last time I spent 2 hours hanging out with my girlfriend in complete silence, but still having fun, since I found Candy Crush. Oh. So we got the soundboard tonight, guys. I'm just gonna assume you're not laughing at my jokes, but that's okay if you aren't. I've got my own soundboard to make my own laughs. What's up, Charisi? What's up, oh, Justin's in the house. What's up, buddy? Woo. And yeah, so speaking of Candy Crush, I probably should cover her. She hates that I play Candy Crush. Actually, I've been playing Candy Crush, now that I think about it, since like 2013. That's 7 years. Every day. That's 7 years. I like to think of it as dedication. I'm a pretty dedicated Candy Crusher. No, I'm just
Candy Crush Mania.
Candy Crush Mania. Yeah, I don't know if it's really commitment, or it's just, I think I do have a commitment problem. I don't really haven't committed to anything for that long, between jobs, between anything, except for my underwear. Okay, enough of this. Enough of the bad jokes. Welcome, guys. I want to welcome you. I want to introduce you to our guest today. Give me 1 second till I get this whole thing going right. That's 1 second. 1 second. Here we go. This is going to be our guest. Enjoy. Come on. Oh, wow, that was awesome. Guys, you know, if you come to my show, you're gonna get a lot of corny jokes and stuff. So welcome to our guest today, Renato Fernandes, all the way from Las Vegas. Give him a round of applause.
Nice. What's up, guys? Thank you so much for having me, bud.
How you doing, man? How's everything over there?
Fantastic. You know, trying to enjoy quarantine, trying to stay safe at home, you know, trying to make a lot of funny videos, which is what I really enjoy to do. So I'm spending my time like that, spending time with the kids and staying safe, you know, but I'm good. Thank you.
So for our guests, let's give like a little bit of a rundown of like who we're talking to here. This guy is Renato. Just tell us a little bit about yourself.
Well, obviously my name is Renato. I'm 29 years old. I'm like borderline 30. I'm just like, you know, I got a full one in the door. I got a foot in the door there. Originally from
30, right?
What?
Said it's not bad being 30, right?
No, I feel great. I got a couple of grays here and there, but I feel great, you know.
Yeah.
And you know, I'm originally from Brazil, South America. I've been in the U.S. since 2002. I'm a circus performer, trapeze artist. I've done a lot of things with my career, with my life, and you know, I love social media. I love my friends. What do? I'm a single dad of identical twin daughters, which I love more than anything else in this world. And that's it, man. That's who I am. That's my life. You know, have been growing up in the circus. I've done a little bit about everything, but flying trapeze, as you know yourself, is our passion, right? Is our love.
Right. Of course. So, so that's great. I we got a little bit of background, but I want to start off. Let's just start this. Let's go right into it. I don't know.
Yeah, man, let's do it.
For our guests that are returning from last week, we introduced a few different segments to the show just to kind of keep it lively, keep it interesting, and also to find out a little bit more about the guests that we have. So I'm gonna switch over to a little segment here I like to call what the hell is this? Okay. So basically how this goes is Renato sent me, I am struggling with this interface this week. Give me just a second. So Renato sent me some photos, and he didn't give me any background on what these photos were about or anything. Just these
photos. So I just sent you
photos. So we're gonna basically take a look at these photos, and I've got a lot of questions really about these photos. I want to see what the hell this is. Okay, so let me get the first photos queued up. All right.
Getting nervous.
Are you sure? Do you know? You were the ones that sent me the photos, so let's make sure we get the right. Right. We don't have. All right. So let's start off with something easy, since we're talking about who you are, right? This is obviously a baby picture, right?
Picture, dude. Yeah. Shit.
So
yeah.
when is this? When what happened?
I don't know why I have short hair in that picture, to be honest. But that boy right there, dude, that's my boy. That's my best friend to this day. His name is Michael Portugal. I grew up in his circus. His dad owned the circus, and now he's the owner, right? He owns that circus, and he's actually the godfather to one of my twin daughters, Vanessa, right? I grew up with that boy, and he's a single boy. He's a single son from his dad and his mom, right, from his family. And we just grew up together, and he's my good friend to this day. The funny thing is that we were apart for like 17 years, man. And then he was the first one to come. He came to the United States when I was still in Orlando to visit me. And it was like yesterday, you know what I mean? He was fantastic, man. So that's who that boy is. His name is Michael Portugal. He owns a circus in Brazil right now, and he back then he did a lot of animal training and this and that, and now he pretty much just runs the show and everything. But it was fantastic, and I love that kind of stuff. You know, when you don't see somebody for so many years, and then you just come up, and it was just like yesterday, and you're messing around, and you're throwing jokes, and you're having a great time. And anyway, that person right there is really close to me for sure.
Well, and I imagine this one also is pretty close to you too.
Oh my God, yeah. Oh, yeah.
Another baby picture.
Oh man, yeah. I don't know. It's funny because a lot of people see that picture and they tell me I look just like, or my daughters look just like me when I was a baby. That guy right there. I
was gonna say that you like look just like your girls.
Yeah, dude, it's amazing. I love that. Of course, I love that so much. And that guy right there, man, his name is Beto Cajero. Back then, he was only a circus owner, and he was like a public figure, right, like a celebrity going around. But now he owns. Well, he's dead. May he rest in peace. But he now owns in Brazil. He has it's called Beto Cajero World, and let me just put it this way: he's the Brazilian Walt Disney. That's who that man is. He's the Brazilian Walt Disney. He's the biggest theme park in Brazil, and you know he was very well known for his stallion. He had a white stallion, and he would be on TV and cracking the whip, and the horse will go up and stuff. You know, so I was very fortunate to spend a little bit of my childhood with him. You know, my parents performed in his show when he had a small show, and then he just blew, man. He was on TV and all kinds of stuff.
That's really cool.
But yeah, that man right there is the man.
I like the sequence. He perform in a circus too at all, or was he just an all around performer?
He performed, but he's saying that he owned the circus. He was in love with the circus, but he was the main guy. But his biggest thing back then, he would have a wide screen with a projector going on, and the projector would project like him coming from a far away into the screen, and when he get close to the screen, it would be a paper screen, and then the horse would jump through that, right? So if you're an audience member, you're looking at a paper screen, and you can see the video of him just coming from really far away with the horse, and then all of a sudden it would break through the thing, and everybody was like, "Oh my God, what just happened?" Right? And he would go to the ring and crack his whip and do the upside down, and one thing led to another, TV, blah blah blah, and then he's just huge, man. So
that's really cool. Like, he's a visionary, because that kind of technology, like to be that kind of forward thinking in that time.
Oh yeah, and that's one of the things I remember from. I mean, I was probably a little older. Holy shit!
Well, we're on the cowboy theme. What was this a rough phase where you?
Oh my God, that's you know what? It's
what was happening here?
Explain that picture, dude. It's like that's my very, very good friend Raul. He performed with me at Cirque Du Soleil in La Nuba back in Orlando, and in Brazil, we're Brazilian as well. In Brazil, we have a tradition, and it's a June party, right? It's a June party. It's very traditional, and it's meant for that kind of character. I don't know if how do you call those characters in American English? It's like a redneck kind of thing. You know, you paint your teeth black and you just mess up. And
he's a hillbilly.
Exactly, but in Brazil it's huge. You know, like people do it on the street, and it's fireworks, and they have the mechanical bull. And
are there real people like this, or is this just a caricature of people that they've seen in movies and stuff?
Oh no, that exists for sure. Okay. My grandfather was one. Yeah, those kind of people right there. They're out in the field with those big old machetes, just cutting the sugar cane and cleaning out the stuff. Oh yeah, no, they're real. They're very real.
Yeah, because we have those in America too. Usually in the South, and like the country towns and stuff. There's a lot of people that they usually call them hillbillies or rednecks, but because they don't go into the city very often, they have a very limited exposure of what they know and what their influence is.
Yeah, so, that's what it is. And then they did that part. Oh man,
we moved on to another one where you have a very similar haircut to mine, and I see the blood, but I also see your grip. So I imagine that has to do something with trapeze.
Yes. Do you want which story do you want first, the hair or the broken nose?
The hair, because I'm sure that's a quick one, right?
Yeah, the hair was a quick
one.
That was World Cup, the soccer World Cup, I believe in 2014. And I was in Cirque, and I had and me and my friend, we were like, if Brazil wins the World Cup, we're going to shave our heads. Long story short, Brazil didn't win the World Cup. And I just kept talking about it. I was like, man, I wonder what I look like bald. I really got interested. I kept talking crap around the building, right? Like, man, I really want to do it. And then somebody one day just woke up to me and like, hey, man, stop talking so much crap and do it already. And that kind of ticked me off. So I went home that night. I stopped at a Walgreens, bought the machine, took it to my friend, and I was like, shave it, dude. And he shaved it. But he was bald, man. He was bald shaved. That right there was a few weeks later.
That was like you did with a razor.
Yeah, a razor. Yeah, I told him, like, if we're going to go all out. And it ended up being pretty cool because I have a pretty brown head. And the funny thing is that it became a meme. One day I came into Cirque, and on the wall, they had a picture of me and just a picture of a light bulb next to it. And it was like me and a light bulb. And I don't even have that picture, but I wish I did for sure. And the broken nose. Oh, that's a good story because Justin's here. If Justin's here is watching, then he's gonna remember this story for sure. It was just an ordinary training day for flying trapeze in La Nuba, just training. And that time I was doing a double, the full, and the triple pike. And it was, long story short, it was just a misunderstanding. It was a misunderstanding on the double and the triple pike, and the timing was off, and his swing was off. It was just off. Because of that fact, I over-rotated, necked out, my knee came to my nose, pow! That is the second time I've broken my nose on trapeze, so I knew right away. I'm like, hey, man, my nose is broken. Wow. I turned around on the net, and it was just blood, like a pool of blood everywhere. And that picture was right after I came down the net. I went into the P-Med, and they're like, dude, your nose is broken. We got to take you to the ER. And I was just like with the ice in it. And I was like, I need a picture of this, like, of course. I was like, well, let's take a picture because this is funny.
It's funny you were talking about you wish you had a photo of you bald. I don't know if you've seen this photo. I did a little research on my own.
Yes, check that out.
It's really bad. It's funny.
Photoshop. It's not Photoshop though. That's my actual head. Look how round it is. It reminds you of a
perfectly shaped, right? Like you never did any hand balancing like head to head.
Right there, that's the guy who shaved it, Miguel, right there. He's looking at my head. I love his expression because he's looking at it like, damn, that's perfection. I did that. You know, like,
This guy right here, right?
that's him. That's him right there.
That's hilarious. That's, you know, it's funny. We were doing this the last vlog, and we were doing a competition of whoever won 2 out of 3 of the competitions got to shave the other person's head. Well, originally it started out like I just wanted a haircut. I wanted a little trim and I wanted kind of a fade. And she was going to take some length off of her hair. And actually, I think this kind of goes along with some people in the chat were asking what happened to my hair. So what happened is we were going to do that. And then at the same time, after we finished, I was like, oh, no, I don't want to cut my hair at all. And she had I've been joking the whole time with the razor, like I was going to shave her head, obviously, right? But you can't shave a girl's head because they just look weird. But I was scared because it's on the right bodies or the right face, right? I don't want to offend anybody that has a bald head, but going off track. So when she got the clippers out, I was like, okay, let's just cut it all. And then I remembered I haven't cut my hair since I was 12 years old, so I don't remember what the shape is. I don't remember like if I have some pimples.
A lump in the middle of your hair.
Yeah, and I remember when I was in Japan, I was working with one of the hand balancers, and I tried to do head to head with him. And I remember he kept rolling off the side because if you notice, like my head's like pointed. So we can't do any of the flat standing head to head stuff.
That's hilarious, dude. That's hilarious.
But yeah, so
is that the shortest you went, or did you raise it off, or is that it right there?
No, well, it was like 2 days ago. We did like it was 2.5 millimeters on the clipper.
Yeah.
So yeah, so.
Well, you can't. You couldn't cut her hair also because she does hair hang, right?
Right. Well, and we weren't going to cut it, but her hair is so much longer than she needs for a hair hang, and we could literally take about 6 to 8 inches off, and we could make it dramatic, you know, for the vlog and everything. But anyway, I got one more photo here. What the hell is this?
Oh my God! Hey, there's a good part to that story actually. Okay, it's not just me butt-ass naked in Times Square. Okay, there's actually.
I'm curious. I want to know what the story is.
Okay. I went to. You know what's funny? This is when I first had the idea to be a YouTuber. Right, I had the idea to be a YouTuber. I opened this channel called Master Within, and it was the master of circuses, the master of trapeze, the master of juggling, the master of whatever. So I flew out to New York to the Big Apple Circus to visit my brother, my great friend Ahmed Tunisiani. So I got there to the show, and with him, I did the recording, this and that, and he doesn't wake up early, and I was there for a few days. And at that point, I was reading a lot of books. And I just woke up early. That's really early right there. Not super early for some people, but for me, it was like 8:30 in the morning. I got up and I was like, you know what? I'm just going to walk because that's really close. The Lincoln Center there is really close. And I just walked it. I walked to Times Square. And in the back, if you can see, there's some red chairs back there with tables, right? And that's a little coffee place back there. In the picture to the right. And I was sitting there. And I was sitting there. That's funny that you play that. I was sitting there and I was having coffee. And I was reading my book, and then all of a sudden I hear him playing the guitar and singing and having a great time. And I look over and I said exactly that. I was like, what the hell is this? I was like, what the hell is this? And the guy is on the Naked Cowboy, and he's very famous, and I didn't know. I just do there. So I felt, I don't know what the hell I felt. I was like, I'm going to walk over with him because I want a picture. So I walk over to him and I was like, hey man, I want a picture with you. He's like, absolutely. And I was like, man, but I want a picture just like you. I want to be down to my underwear. And he's like, I don't give a shit, right? And the cops, and there was a cop on the side, and I was like, we don't get arrested. He's like, no, dude, this is Times Square, New York. Nobody gives a crap. You know, just do it. If you look in the back in the picture on the ground right there, you can see my clothes. You can see my orange book. And you can see my coffee cup right there. Dude, that's all on the ground. You see, that's my coffee, my book, and my pants. And I got down to my underwear and I hugged him. After I hugged him, he was like, dude, this is awesome. He told me like, dude, this is awesome. Here's the hat, here's the guitar. And I was like, I have no idea how to play the guitar. So I'm pretending to play the guitar there. But I felt so free, dude. Like I felt like that was it wasn't even on my bucket list. But after that, I added to my bucket list. I was like, I already did something that you know. But yeah, that's the story of that. That's
really cool. I mean, I was gonna say it takes a lot of balls to do that, but as we're probably going to see later in the show, we're going to introduce the audience a little bit more into you and your personality.
That'd be fun.
Getting naked isn't a big thing for Renato, so
Yeah.
how cold was it there? Was it pretty cold, or when you gave him a hug, was anything affected there? Like,
Dude, it was cold. It was cold. It was super fast. It was super cold. This was I don't know if it was in January or February. It was early in the year. It was cold. It was really. I had a big ass jacket on with like the turtleneck. I had clothes on. It was really cold. Nothing got affected, thank God. And it's funny because I like boxer briefs. I like boxer. And that day I had I don't know what they're called, not the boxer one that looks like a Speedo, right? The underwear that looks like a Speedo.
The bikini briefs or
yeah. And that day I just had one of those, so I was kind of like a little bit like, oh man, it's just an off day. But what's meant to be is meant to be. I'm just gonna do it. And dude, I was really happy I did it. And
I'm surprised the way that you told the story, because I would actually have thought like you would have been there drinking coffee and you're like, bro, I got to do that. Like, I'm going to go do that right away. Like, hey, dude, can I borrow your hat and guitar? Like, just straight to the point. That's.
Oh yeah, no, dude, no. I didn't.
Surprised it happened the way that you like described it. That's.
It was.
I mean, that's kind of cool because it's a little more organic, and plus, if it's cold out there, it's not the first thing I would think about. Is like, let me just strip naked next to a guy.
A lot of people love my personality and comedy and whatever, but that day, dude, I actually felt like freedom, I guess is the word to use. Like, I just saw him and I was like, man, he just looks carefree. Right. He looks like he doesn't care about nothing, man. The dude just playing his guitar with freaking cowboy boots, a cowboy hat, underwear, and a guitar, nothing else, So I was like, man, I want to feel what he's feeling, like I want to. I really like. I don't care. In Times Square, New York, it doesn't get better than that.
Right. Well, so let me ask you then, with that scenario, did he like kind of make you feel comfortable doing it, or would it be something that you would do if it was just you and you weren't drunk? Like, would you do something like that on your own in the middle of Times Square if you didn't have like that kind of support?
Yeah. No, for sure. Yeah. Oh yeah. It's funny that you said that, because when I went there during that time, after the naked cowboy situation, I went to a med, and the idea came to my mind. I was like, in my YouTube videos or whatever, I would challenge the person, whoever I was interviewing at the time, to do a challenge, whatever that may be. Right. So Ahmed is very shy. He's a circus member. He's very shy. So I was like, but he loves to dance Michael Jackson. So I was like, dude, you know what we're gonna do? I'm gonna take you to Times Square, and I'm just gonna have you dance Michael Jackson in a bedazzled suit. I have a bedazzled suit that my mom made me. So I was like, you're gonna wear this. We're gonna go to Times Square, and we went to Times Square, and he had a beanie on, and he wore glasses, like real reading glasses, and he's just standing there looking around, and he's like, dude, I don't know what to do. I was like, dude, I got it, and I just started yelling it out. Ladies and gentlemen, gather around, please. My friend Ahmed is about to, I forgot what I said, amaze you all with his dancing skills, blah, 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 and there was police, and Ahmed kind of freaked out. He was like, dude, there's police around. And anyway, so that's definitely something I would do if I could.
That's actually, that was when you were doing the Mester Within, right?
Yeah. It was all that happened during the same time, yeah.
That's cool. I want to actually get into that a little bit later when we talk about more of your creative side, because that was actually a really interesting show, and it was partly an inspiration for this show, because the way that you like went to circus artists and professional people, and you traveled to go see them and to interview them and just kind of bring more of the story of circus to the general population. And I think that's kind of my inspiration. That's why I started my YouTube channel 2.5 years ago as well, is because I think there are a lot of people who hear circus and they already have a connotation, or they already have a thought, and they don't really know anybody that's actually involved in circus, or that has, like, for example, you have lived circus since you were a child. And for somebody like me, who, like, now there's this whole generation of people who come to circus from the school system rather than growing up in it. And so this whole different worlds are like kind of melting together now. But I think this is like the perfect platform to be able to share that to people, where they see that people who were born in circus and people who weren't born in circus, how their like mentalities and work ethics are exactly the same. We all have the expectation of perfection. We all have the hard work ethics.
Absolutely.
And people who are born in circus, which a lot of people may not know, is like, you are up working your ass off from the morning till the night, whether it's doing the show, whether it's training, whether it's helping around the circus, whether it's working on the tent, whether it's rigging, costuming, all these different things. And I think that's another big reason why, as I got into circus more myself, I wanted to show how much hard work and try and get more of that respect and appreciation from the general population. And I think that's why I like having guests like you on the show. And I like was inspired by your show, by how using a platform like YouTube or Instagram or all these other platforms now, we can bring that experience personally to our communities. Like, for example, the community that's here in the chat room right now, a lot of them are here because they like Tycho and I, but now they're getting a chance to meet you and hear your story from your perspective and how you came into circus. So I think it's really great, and I hope this like continues. I know Ahmed's wife has actually just started a channel.
Yeah,
that's also interviewing circus people. So
you know what? It's funny because I really appreciate you, man. I really do appreciate you because you, like you said, you know, if people come from school, people are generations. It amazes me how I don't think I could tell you one big person that is on social media from actual circus generation that are trying to expose that with the platforms that we have today. You know, just like you said, YouTube.
Right.
And Instagram and Facebook and whatever the heck all these platforms on the internet, and then you love it so much, you know, and I'm not taking it away from anybody, not that they love it more or less. I'm just saying that I really appreciate what you do because you've been doing it for so long, man. You put in the hard work, dude. You've been traveling around. You an amazing character, and on top of that, you're willing to share that with the crowd. Like, man, I came into this world because this is what it's like, and these are the people behind it. This is the story behind it before I came in, and I didn't grow up on it. You know what I mean? So it's so thank you, really.
No, I mean, I think it's interesting because my transition into it was very unique, and the way that actually the guy you're talking about, Ahmed, his family was the first family to kind of really invite me into circus because I came from this school, right? And then my first job was working with them on Ringling Brothers, so it was really cool to like have a very smooth entrance, but also at the same time like kind of get just right thrown into a whirlwind of circus where you have a big mix of people who are like diehard, born like sawdust in their veins, and then you have people who ran away from home because they had nothing there and they wanted to work in the circus. And so there is so much diversity. And like I said, I think the one thing I just really want to bring to the people that are watching that see this, not even just now here in the live, but also watching the replay, how much, I think I keep saying this every week on the show, is that how much dedication goes into circus. And there's no more, no less from people who are born and people who come into it. And it's not just a job to people. It's a lifestyle. And again, that's why I've like pretty much dedicated the whole YouTube channel to that. And anyway, we're gonna just carry on that. And I really appreciate you as well as being a person who, I don't want to sound spiteful, but like you get along, you go out of your way to like invite people into circus, because there are some people who grew up in circus that like to keep it within the family. They don't like the outsiders. They don't like the people from the school.
Traditionals, right? They're very
Traditional,
very traditional, and they're like, if you're not born in it, why are you here or whatever? You know,
Exactly.
Trust me, I'm with you on that one because I've personally argued with those people. I personally, like, man, of course, because I know people such as yourself and other people, not only in the trapeze act, but in other different acts that work so much harder than people who were born in it. Do you understand? And I'm not saying that they're lazy. I'm not saying that they're lazy or that they don't want to. Sometimes they just don't want to do it. Do you understand? They're forced to do it. And I'm arguing, I'm like, man, don't take it away from the person because they're working their asses off, but you're trying to put it all into this person and they actually don't want to do it. You understand what I mean? It's okay that they don't want to do it. You know what I mean? My daughter I love flying trapeze. I'm a traditional circuit, but if they don't want to do it, that's okay. You know, I'm still going to teach and I'm going to coach flying trapeze, which is something that I really love to do. Whoever puts in the work, if they want to do it, let's get to it and let's do it. You know what I mean? So I completely understand what you're saying and I respect that so much. Yeah.
I think that's a good system too. I feel like that's the system that I learned as a child and was raised as, like, your hard work is what is going to get you what you want. You're not like some people that are born into it. If they're not willing to put in the work and somebody else is, there's going to be conflict and there's going to be
Oh yeah.
hatred or animosity, and that's just natural because that's, you know, somebody who's got goals and desires is not going to back down from somebody who is already entitled into that position, and that doesn't just go in circus, but that goes anywhere, you know.
Absolutely.
Let's get to a little bit of your story as far as circus is going. Like, what are some of like the biggest accomplishments? I mean, we kind of talked about how you got into it. You were born into it, but if from the promo video that I showed earlier, how old were you when you were doing the Wheel of Death? So for our audience, the Wheel of Death is the two wheels that go around in circle, and
Yeah.
I actually had the opportunity to try it. It's one of those things that you look at, I'm like, it's just walking in a circle. It's how hard can that be? And then I got up there a few months ago when I was in Las Vegas, and I'm like holding onto the rails the whole time as I'm going around, walking like it's dark, and I think the boogeyman's under the bed.
Well, a lot of those things are simple to look at, right? Until you try it, right? It's just one of the things of the eye, because you can look at it and you're like, oh, like the knife throwing, right? Like, oh, I'm just gonna throw a knife at the wall.
Yeah. Throwing a knife and not hitting your wife or your girlfriend's
right. But that started in Carson and Barnes. Actually, my dad and mom started doing the wheel for an extra act, right? The more acts you do, the more money you get. That was the circus back then, and I'm pretty sure it is still in some places. But anyway, so they really wanted to learn the wheel. They learned the wheel, and then my dad was like, "Oh my God, it'll be awesome if you guys do it. You and your brother will do it. You guys are young." My brother was super young, man. My brother was born in 97, and that was 2004. My math is horrible, but whatever how old he is. But he was just like, "You guys are gonna do it," and we're like, "Okay, cool, let's do it," you know. And we did it. And that video right there that you put in that little clip, that was our debut. That was the very, very first day that we did it. And that was in Fort Worth, Texas. That was a big arena in Fort Worth, Texas. We did the circus there, and the floor of the circus, it wasn't concrete. It wasn't fancy. It was dirt. It was just like one of those rodeo horse running around kind of stage. And that's it right there, man. There's my little brother. That was our debut. Very well. Look at that.
We don't have to watch the full 5 minutes.
It's funny that he tells the time and everything. That was one of those big cameras with the cassettes. You know?
I love it. Yeah. Oh yeah. I love that it had the time and date stamp on it, because it just really kind of brings back the memories, right?
Yeah. Oh yeah, dude. Oh yeah. Look at my brother, dude. That's crazy.
That's amazing, right?
That's so. People nowadays, we would probably get sued if we did that today. You know, we'd probably get sued for that.
Right.
That's. I love it. I love it.
That's amazing though. Like to be able, like the exposure to be able to do those kind of things when you're young too. Like that's so amazing, because like you're gonna learn these things, life lessons about like you learn not to fear certain things. Like you don't need to fear like something that you don't know. You know, like many people, they look at the Wheel of Death and they fear it because they're like, oh, I don't know what it's gonna feel like. I don't know how I'm gonna be. I don't know what the height's gonna be like. But the reality of it is it's just walking. You're walking at a certain pace to control the thing, right? I mean, the basic part of it, the basic principles. And there's a lot that goes into it, but the reality is many people can walk. Like I was getting to, the point is that you can learn at a young age that like something like that is not to be scared of. Like you learn swinging on a trapeze. Like swinging on a trapeze, kids have no fear because they're like, go up there and swing. They're not taught that there's something to be feared of. They're not taught that, you know, you could bounce off the net and die, right? But I don't want to take a morbid turn on this whole interview, but
but it's exactly what you're saying, right? And there's that old saying in circus, like, oh, if you want to do it, do it. You go to the trapeze, you go up and swing, and you want to go do it, just go do it. Whatever happens, happens. It is like that, but there's also a limit to that, right? It's like, okay, you're gonna do it, to go up and swing, dude. It's simple. Hold on, swing, let go. Like there is still a little bit of explanation, but it's still like go up and just do it, right? You just do that thing. But in the normal life, I guess would be like go climb the tree. You understand? Like if you want to, the kids want to have fun. I mean, maybe not nowadays, right? With all this technology, but back then it's like, you know, go slide down the mountain with this, go climb the tree, go jump off a mountain into the water, whatever. Those things are pretty dangerous as well, which is the same. You know what I mean? Like,
and that was also in our generation when we were growing up, where we were told to go outside and play. Now
Right,
it's like,
right.
don't go outside because somebody might snatch you up.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
I mean, that's a whole different situation, right? Um, let's see. What are some of the like pros and cons of working in circus or living in circus? Like the cool thing is, I want to let our audience know is that um, you've gotten experience both sides. Like growing up, like where you're in the circus, traveling around. Now you live in Las Vegas, where you have a house and you kind of get to do the 9 to 5 thing, where you get to go home, be with your girls, do
Yeah.
your TikTok videos, make food, and then you go to work
Yeah.
and you do your job and you go home. So like the two different lifestyles, what are the pros and cons about what you would consider circus life?
It comes to a lot of things. I think it also comes from different people, right? Different people, different personalities. In my case, well, not in just my personal case, but a lot of people like me who grew up in the circus, is that we don't have much of a childhood. You know what I mean? We do have a childhood, but the circus childhood is like, okay, you want to have fun, go jump on the trampoline and flip. You want to have fun, go feed the tiger. You want to have fun, go do this, go juggle. That's our go juggle or whatever.
Go play with the tigers? Is that what you said?
Yeah, oh yeah, dude. Yeah,
Go play with the tiger.
hey, you can't get close to the cage. You got to toss that in there, and you're just like, okay, and you're just trying to aim through the cracks of the cage, and you're just throwing chips. They explain to you that it's dangerous. He's gonna eat your hand or whatever. But that's one thing. So the childhood of the circus is a little bit different. So you don't have that much childhood. You grew up really fast. So in my case, I grew up quite fast because I had my first performance when I was 4 years old. So I was always working, but it was fun to me, right? I loved it. I loved it to this day. But I grew up so fast that the very first time I actually got to live in a house and stable was in 2010, and that's because of an accident. I fell off the wheel. I fell off the wheel of death. I broke both of my feet. I was 3 months in a wheelchair. I was 1 year and 9 months out of work, just sitting in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania, which where I was at the time. And the only reason I stayed there is because workman's comp doesn't pay out of state injury. You have to stay in state. So I lived in Pittsburgh. And then it was the first time I got my own apartment, and I started learning about credit score and how to get an apartment and deposits and that part of the adult life. And I loved it, because I felt like, okay, this is the next phase in my life. I had a girlfriend, and I did exactly what you said. I had a 9 to 5 job. Yeah, have you ever been to the Brazilian restaurants where they come and cut the meat off in your plate? I was that guy, dude. I had a regular job, and I would come to tables and eat. It played off for me very well, because it got to the point a few months later that I had the whole back section to myself, because people would like my stories. I would feed them the meat and tell them the stories, and it worked to my advantage. But I loved it. I just loved the fact that I could go home. So I think the pros and cons is probably the traveling. I love to travel, but sometimes people don't realize that traveling for work is not exactly like, we don't get to be tourists all the time. Right. We do. We definitely do, but not all the time. It's not like, oh my God, you travel all over the world or all over the country. I did, but I don't know the whole world and the whole country. Does that make sense to you? Like,
right, right. Well, and there's oftentimes, like, especially in like traditional circus, where you're in a town just long enough to set up, work, and leave. You don't have a chance to really explore and like be there.
Absolutely. And that's funny, because I see people nowadays complaining about things, and I'm like, dude, you have no idea. You wake up at 6 a.m, you travel, you get there, you set it up, you do 2 shows, you tear down, you sleep, and you travel again. Like, it's a one-day situation. And I think that's one of the pros and cons for me personally. Some people, have their different wants or whatever. But for me, I think that would be the pro and con. I love being able to travel. So nowadays, I travel to enjoy. If I go somewhere, it's to be a tourist. You know what I mean? I'm dedicated to sightseeing and this and that, And I guess the space too, because I'm used to living in for one whole year, I lived in a semi-truck. There was no kitchen. It was a semi-truck with
the back seat of a semi.
Yeah, just a semi for truckers. I lived there for a whole year, man. And the amazing thing about that stuff is that the creativity, right? Like the circus people, they give you a semi truck, you find a way to put like a fridge there and a little, you know what I mean? And you make, like closet
TV on a swivel arm, and
oh man, all kinds of, it's cold, you roll down the window, or roll up the window, you roll down the window, and So I think those are the pros and cons for me, but it's something that I wouldn't change for sure. I wouldn't, I don't want to, I'm not one of those persons that say I want to go back in time and change it and not do it. No, man, like I think about all that stuff and I was like, man, it was fantastic. Me inside my semi truck, putting my tights on, you know, because he's about to start or whatever, you know.
Well, and I think like sometimes these are the stories that people hear of circus people, and then they get this impression in their mind that, oh, they're just vagrants because they're living in semis, but they don't realize the stories that go behind those. And again, like that's why I'm really glad that we're getting a chance to like share that part of like what it is to be in circus and what it is to live in circus. And it's funny because coming from the school system of the circus schools, a lot of people say, oh, I could never live that lifestyle. I'm like, so you want to be a professional circus performer, but you don't want to live that lifestyle. So you want like a nice cushy job. So basically you want to work for a job like Cirque Du Soleil, right? Or like there's not a lot of circuses that where you get to go to the resident circus show and then get to go home and live in your nice house or apartment.
Right, absolutely. Yeah.
So it's interesting when I cross people that like at the circus schools, and they're like, how can you live in a train, or how do you live in a container? How do you live in a trailer? I'm like, man, this is all you need, really. Like if you have water and you have shelter, that's really all you need. I mean, and it sounds very simplistic and minimal, but
even electricity, like you said, electricity, people that appreciate electricity, like all these are in circus, the show is over, lights out. If you haven't paid enough to buy a personal generator, lights out, period.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? Until the next day that you travel to the next city, and then you have to wait for the electricity to be connected. And I would love, like, man, it's a new world today. People don't remember, or people do remember, but people don't really know about it. It would be fantastic to have a vlog or a video that a day in the life of somebody who performed there. Like, dude, there's mud. You walk into the ring with your mud boots on. You sit on the ring curb. You take them out. You go up. You do flying trapeze. You land on the net with your hands like this because it's gonna splash water. You don't want to get your grips wet. You put the boots back on, and you go and you style and you walk off. You know what I mean? To show like this is real. Like we're making it up. You know, like yeah, man, it's real for them.
I mean, and again, that life isn't for everybody. There are some people that need certain comforts to feel alive and to feel like they're existing properly. But we don't need to get into everybody else's individual story. If you could cover your entire career, because of all the people I know, there's only probably one other person that I know personally that has done or accomplished more things that I have wanted to accomplish in my career, that you've like really covered the gamut of like, and he's here in the chat, Justin, actually your catcher from Monte Carlo. Like you guys are the two people that I like admire most in circus as far as like what you've accomplished, where you've gone, what you've done, and what you're still doing with circus. Like because of the way that you guys have grown up into it, but you're still doing it because you're passionate about it. So without going into like all of the places that you've been, and you can't say Monte Carlo winning the Golden Clown, what is one of the biggest highlights of your career?
Man, biggest highlights of my career besides Monte Carlo, of course. I've had a few, to be honest, because how do I explain? My career was I always wanted to do something for a reason. It was never random. You know, I always wanted to do something for a reason. Like, funny enough, my record, right, being the world's first of being to do the double and a half, that's not my favorite trick. People think that that's my favorite trick. It's not my favorite trick. My favorite trick is a triple pike, and I'll tell you why. I was in Carson and Barnes, actually, and I saw my uncle throw the most beautiful triple pike I seen, and that was the first biggest trick besides the triple, right? Because there's double, there's all this trick, but that besides the double layout and the triple somersault, I saw my uncle do a triple pike, and I told him, I was like, dude, one day I'm gonna do that for you, period, dude. And I'm getting the goosebumps
for your uncle.
For my uncle, yeah, he's my dad's twin. And anyway, many years, man, over a decade goes by, and I end up in Cirque Du Soleil, and I catch my first triple pike. But with Rob Dawson, he was my catcher at the time. And I keep doing it. I was like, I'm going to keep doing it until my uncle comes to visit and see me. And my uncle came, dude. He was perfect. Catching all the time. I'm getting the visit. I'm like, I'm prepared. My uncle comes to visit me, and I bought him a ticket for the first show. I said, I'm there. Missed. Bought him a ticket for the second show. Missed. The next day, bought him a ticket for the first show the next day. Missed.
Oh man.
The fourth show, the second show of the second day, between shows, I was fuming, man. I was like, I can't believe it. Over 10 years waiting for this. This is my moment for my uncle. I walk into the box office and I'm like, give me a ticket. I want to hear. He's going to sit right there. He sat, and it was the worst, ugliest triple pike I ever caught. The trick was fine, but I opened early and I arched back, and Rob Dawson kind of scooped me, and I curled my legs, and we went, and I came back. As soon as I come back to the board, I couldn't believe it, man. I'm getting the goosebumps talking about. I was yelling at my uncle, and I saw him down there, and I was like, that's for you. And there's a video of it, and I'm like, that's for you, that's for you. And my uncle stood up in the audience, and he's yelling. He's like, I love. Anyway, that was one of the great achievements, great moments of my career and of my life, and that's why the triple pike is my favorite trick for sure. So that's a big highlight of my career. No doubt.
Yeah. So you're talking about Adam Milson?
Adam Milson, that's right. And you know him, yeah.
That's right. I worked with the guy.
Yeah,
He's
an
amazing performer, amazing guy.
So that was one for sure. You know. Anyway.
We had a question in the chat about what is a triple pike. I'm trying to pull up a video of it.
Oh, okay. And you know what's funny about the triple pike? Because that's my uncle's trick, actually, right? My uncle's trick is the triple pike. And a triple pike is when you do a somersault with your body like this. This is your head and body, and then you bend at the waist, and this is your legs. Let me see my hand. And you flip, right? My uncle started like this with a beautiful triple pike, and within the ears, he started stretching it out.
Yeah. I saw it at the end.
It was like a half triple pike, half triple layout, but the dude does it, man. He does it, and my uncle is on his 40s, and he still did it. And I was like, yeah, that boy's my idol for sure.
He was incredible. I was watching him do it. He would, I don't know if he would even mention to the catcher that he was going to do it. He's like, I'm just going to do a triple. Like, okay. And then he pulled the pike out, like, and it's so open, and he catches it. He's like, and the catcher's all yelling at him. He's like, it's okay. Come on, we got it. No big deal. And he just had that kind of personality. That's really cool. Let's get a little bit into, because I have a segment coming up, but I want to quickly introduce your daughters. If you want to talk about them for a second, like, because I know you're so proud of them. You started the YouTube channel that you wanted to devote to like being the single dad of twins and teach them Portuguese and Spanish and English and all this stuff. But I'll let you just, if you want to touch on that a little bit.
You know, it's I'm blessed, man. I'm blessed. When it gets to my daughters, I get very, very emotional, very sensitive. It's very personal to me because I always wanted to be a dad. And going back to my uncle, is like I always wanted to have a kid by the age of 19 because when I was born, my uncle was 19, and I'm very, very close to that man. So I always imagine or picture in my head, I'm like, I'm gonna be with my kids, like I'm with my uncle, right? Like with my uncle's like me, like that's the relationship I want to have. Hey, dude, like I want to be their best friends, right? Like, man, anyway, so I wanted to do that. And quick sad story. Oh my god. Yeah, there they are, dude. That was the day. That was my
amazing.
I remember that day very well, man. That was New Year's, dude. Yeah.
How old were they here? Because they such a beautiful style.
Yeah. You know, the funny thing about the.
Oh shoot! We got a tear. I put the photo back. There we go. Sorry.
The story about kids, dude, is that I really wanted to have kids at a young age like that. And a sad story, with past relationships, I actually lost kids, right? Like I was pregnant before and I lost kids. And that's why I'm saying I'm very blessed. And my daughters are the world to me because after trying, not more than once, I'm not going to get too personal on the number, but anyway, more than once I lost you know a pregnancy. So when I had the twins, and it's two beautiful daughters, man, like my world just exploded. They mean the world to me. So that's who they are, and their name is Vanessa and Catalina. Vanessa, it's like, man, now you show that picture, and then I'm getting the picture during the birth.
It's funny, I don't remember which photos you actually sent me and which ones I researched and found on my own. So I don't know how they were gonna hit you whenever I stalked your accounts to get this.
That was so great, you know, because you know, a lot of people ask me like, oh, what was the birth like? Was it like a dream? No, man, I was waiting for that moment so long that everything was like perfect. I watched everything. I cut their umbilical cords, both of them. You know, I took their selfies, and I was taking selfies as they were born, and it was the moment of a lifetime. And you know, the picture, one of the first pictures that you showed me with a boy hugging. Remember that I had short hair or whatever as a kid, and Michael from Brazil.
Mm-hmm.
He has 4 cousins. So when we grew up, it was all of us. It was 6 of us. It was 4 girls: Michelle, Aline, Priscilla, Vanessa, Michael, him, and me. And out of those 4 girls, Vanessa was the one that I was in love with at the time. I was in love with her. She was beautiful. She only had like 2 boyfriends her whole life, and she's marrying the second boyfriend right now. Anyway, so I always picture her, and I was like, whenever I have a kid, if it's a daughter, it's going to name Vanessa. I had a daughter. Her name is Vanessa. Another funny story. She's godmother to Vanessa.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Vanessa's godmother. She went to Orlando. They met the baby. She's Vanessa's godmother. And Catalina was nameless for 3 days. Catalina did not have a name.
Oh, wow.
For 3 days, the lady would come into the hotel room and be like, okay, guys, we got to do the paperwork for the Social Security. That was the name. We're like, lady, we don't have a name yet. And the girl's mom at the time the girl's mom wanted to name her Emily, really Emily. And I was like, I don't like Emily. She was like, why not? And I was like, I watch so much more. I love scary movies. I got my Chucky dolls right there. And I love scary movies. And I was like, Emily always dies. Like Freddy Krueger is always searching out Emily.
Emily's always the victim, right?
And I was like, nope, not Emily. And then I told her, I was like, how about Cataleya? Because there's a movie called Colombiana, and there's a beautiful flower. Anyway, we got to the Cataleya thing, and then she was like, how about Catalina? And I was like, Catalina with a K. Let's at least make it different with a K. So you ended up Vanessa and Catalina, and that's my beautiful daughters.
That's awesome. That's awesome. Let's give them a round of applause. Give them a round of applause, guys. That was a good story. Good story.
Yeah.
We'll give him a chance to go get a tissue because we have a next segment coming on. It's called Renato's Twin Beauties. Okay, so the way I named this kind of after you.
Okay.
Actually, this segment's only going to be for you because next week with the different guests we're going to have,
okay,
I don't think it will be as pertinent to that guest. But the way that this segment's going to go, I'm going to ask you 10 of your favorite things. Okay, it's going to be very simple. I'll give you the topic. You're going to be telling me your 10 favorites. But the idea behind Twin Beauties is you got to tell me top 2 favorites, okay? So you get a chance to give me.
I got you. So it's one of those quick things. Like, do I have to answer super fast, or can I have a second to think?
Well, I mean, we don't have like a 4-hour broadcast, but
gotcha.
you can think about it. But again, just remember, nobody's going to hold you to the answers. So if somebody's saying like, "What's your favorite color?" and then the next day you show up in a white car and you said your favorite color is red.
Oh, I understand. Yeah, I got you.
You're not going to get beat up for it, But who knows? We'll see how the audience reacts to you. Just another thing I want to let you guys know in the audience. By the way, any questions you have, we're going to be doing a segment later where you get to ask the questions or whatever questions you have. I've been writing them down. I'll be able to ask them for you guys. If they're in Portuguese, he'll probably have to help me translate them. So any questions you have,
you can do that.
Trust me, we'll get to them a little bit later. I apologize for not getting to them right away, but we've got a structure here, guys. We've got organization. I got a whole list of stuff to do. I'm a one-man production show here.
I love it.
No, it's true. I do. It's like all my notes.
You got all your notes and stuff.
And my jokes. But let's get onto this. Okay, we're not those Twin Beauties. We're gonna ask you. Oh, we already went over the rules. Okay, 10 favorites. Actually, it's gonna be 20 favorites, right? Because it's 2 of each. 2 of each in each category. First category: top 2 favorite foods.
Top two favorite foods. Seafood. I love seafood and meat, steak.
Okay, like let's get more specific because you just said a genre of food.
Yeah.
So, like, what is your favorite type of seafood and what's your favorite type of meat?
Oh, shrimp and picanha. Does that make sense?
Okay, there. Oh, picanha. Okay, good.
Yeah, like
Do you want to do this segment? No? Okay, sorry. I saw in the comments somebody said Tycho should be assisting, but
yeah, Tycho, say something.
she's just a creeper here. I just use her in the videos because that's what attracts all the viewers.
Right. Oh, yeah,
Nobody
that's what
tunes in to see this face, especially now. We put Tycho's pretty face here, and people are like, "Ah, we're here to see Tycho."
Do some hair hang action in the back.
Right. All right, carrying on. Second, two favorite movies.
Ooh, The Pursuit of Happiness, Man on Fire.
Ooh, I like those. That's a good one. Okay, two favorite aromas.
Can I say cologne? Is that one? Can I say
That's not an aroma, like a scent, like the smell, like what kind of flavor or scent you like?
No.
Oh, do you like vanilla? Do you like coconut? Do you
lime?
smell of
Sure.
lime? Okay.
Lime and hand soap.
The smell of hand soap.
And lime. Yeah. And lavender, if that's specific.
There you go. I like that. Lavender.
Yeah.
Now we're getting to the Bath and Body Works stuff.
Different. Yeah, hell yeah.
All right, your top two favorite numbers.
12 and 21.
Oh, okay. I like that. Little no, they're not palindromes. They're just whatever. All right, top two favorite circus performers.
Top two circus performers. Man, that's how you can. Top two circus performers.
Now these people might hold you to, so if you say the wrong thing here, you might have some emails.
Top two circus performers. I'm gonna go with the trapeze people just because that's on my head right now. One is Ahmed Tunisiani for sure because I know him personally and because of how shy he is. I think he's an incredible artist. The way he styles, the way he looks at the crowd, so I love the man. Not just because he's my friend, but I love him. And number two, Arturo Padilla.
Ah, yeah, he's a good one.
I think that man flying, like he had I don't know. I just love his charisma.
He's a really good performer too. Yeah, but before we get into like a detailed analysis of your answers, let's just carry on for a second.
Right.
And just also, you don't have to feel obligated to answer my name or Tycho to any of these questions. we have some suggestions in the chat, and we appreciate it. We definitely appreciate the love, but I don't want him to feel like he has to say Ryan because I'm the one conducting the interview, or Tycho because she's sitting here.
Well, so, who my favorite YouTuber would be? I'd definitely say you, dude. You are my favorite YouTuber.
Hey! I'm answering the questions here. All right, your favorite YouTubers. I actually have that on here.
That was perfect. I love that. Wait, was that a real question?
That is actually a real question. It was number 9, and I'm gonna move it up now to 6.
My favorite YouTubers, you and. Dude, I watch a lot of your stuff, and you know what? I'm not definitely you, dude, because of the circus situation. Definitely you. You're number one. And another favorite YouTuber. I don't watch a lot of YouTube. Can I say something? Casey Neistat.
Casey Neistat. Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah, good one. Okay. Yeah. Your top 2 women crushes.
Ooh, Jennifer Aniston. No doubt about it. I don't care who I'm married to. If Jennifer Aniston came up, I'm leaving. Jennifer Aniston and Cameron Diaz.
Cameron Diaz, okay.
Yeah.
This is a fun game because normally when somebody asks you, like when you're out at a restaurant or something, like they ask you, like, what's your favorite food or what, you only think of one thing, right? But now you have to think of 2.
Yeah.
And number 2 has to be just as good as number 1. All right, carrying on. Your top 2 man crushes.
Ooh, Bradley Cooper and Liam Neeson. I think those dudes are badasses.
He answered those just as fast as the women crushes. I think he's thought of these questions. Did
I watch so many movies.
Did you get a copy of my script before this?
I love movies for sure.
All right. Top 2 favorite body parts.
Eyes and lips.
All right.
Yeah.
Top 2 favorite vacation spots.
That I have been or that have not gone to yet. Anyway, Bora Bora. One that I always wanted to go to. and the Maldives. I don't know. I love the water. I love the blue.
I was actually just thinking of both of those places because I was thinking of the cabins out on the water.
Never been to either, but those are my top two just because I love the water and I love quietness. I love silence, man. So I just want to be there and chill. Like
That's awesome. All right. Congratulations. Give him a round of applause. Yay. All right. He answered the first set of 10 favorites. Now we are moving on to the second part of Renato's Twin Beauties because beauties, not booties, beauties, because as everything that Renato does, it's always in pairs. So the second part of the Renato's Twin Beauties segment, we are going to be asking, this is rapid fire now. This is not like you don't have time to think. This is like first thing, first word, first thought that comes to your mind. Actually, first two thoughts that come to your mind because we're doing twin beauties. Everything is doubled right now. So like, for example, what is your favorite two foods? Or not even favorite food. What are the first two things that you think of when you hear the word food?
Quick. Oh, steak. Oh,
and
sorry.
Two things. Shrimp and steak. Okay, so that's how this game's gonna go. It's rapid fire. It's no time for thought. It's like if you come out with something that is embarrassing, that's okay because that's what this whole point is. It's like what is on your mind right now, and some of these are a little provocative. So it's designed to get you like saying something that you're probably gonna regret, but now it's gonna be here live. Wait, before we start this segment. I told all of our guests our audience last week that we have a theme going on here, and I forgot to actually. I'm going to update it next week on next week's show, but this will be called Backstage Pantsless Live. Now, are you wearing pants?
I'm wearing shorts.
Okay, Tycho and I aren't wearing pants, and I gotta preface the reason for this because this is something that I was taught a long time ago in speech class, was that whenever you're up in front of people and you're a little nervous, you're supposed to imagine them all naked, right?
Yeah. Okay.
Well, the whole point of like me doing this where I'm speaking to the entire world is if I'm just naked, then I feel a little bit more comfortable as well. And now everybody that's watching can feel a little more relaxed because now they don't have to imagine me naked. Well, whatever. That's the whole premise of this whole idea. It's Backstage Pantsless Live. Which is weird.
It a challenge? Am I supposed to take my pants off? Because I will do it.
Yeah, I mean, I challenge everybody in the audience to take their pants off too right now. I mean, we'll wait. We'll give it a 5-second. We'll wait for people to take off their pants.
Wait, should I take my pants off?
Yeah, take your pants off, man. What are you doing here?
For the next questionnaire.
Take them off right now.
Well, you can't see it, right?
No, you don't have to show everything.
Okay, gotcha. Okay, the shirts are gone, man. I'm wearing boxers today.
All right. I forgot to preface that at the beginning of the show, but we have a lot of people here that were here last week, and they kind of remember that, and some people even said they showed up with their pants off. So I'm glad I'm glad everybody's respecting the rules of this show.
They love it, man.
Now that we're all free and comfortable. Pantsless law enforcement. Oh, we have one person who is working law enforcement right now. Make sure you keep your pants on until you get off the job. Wait a minute. If she's on the job and she's watching our live stream, props to you, sweetheart. Thank you so much.
Absolutely.
All right. Justin says, show us or it didn't happen.
Pantless law enforcement.
Okay, no pants. No pants. All right. Okay, let's move on. Let's move on before this turns into a different kind of show.
We're giving it 13. Go.
Top 10 rapid fire twin questions. Top two things that come to your mind when we say these words. All right. Let's put 90 seconds on the clock because it doesn't matter. First topic, politics.
Donald Trump and Bolsonaro.
Donald Trump is 2 words. All right.
Oh, Donald Trump's 2 words? Oh. Okay.
Yeah, 2 words. 2 words that come up. Any 2 words that come up whenever you hear these topics. Next topic. Circus.
Elephants, clowns.
Yeah, all right. Bathroom.
Poop and pee.
Alcohol.
Ooh, whiskey and tequila.
I'm going to start using ooh as one of your answers if you keep saying ooh. That's 3. I'm just kidding. We're getting too... we'll have to talk to the producer and make sure that the These are all acceptable answers.
That was a word. Does it no matter how many letters it has in it?
No, I'm just kidding. This isn't Family Feud where your first answer counts. All right, where were we? All right, top 2 things that come to your mind when you hear the word Las Vegas.
Ooh,
There you go. Okay, next, moving on.
party gambling.
Party
Party gambling.
Okay. Top 2 things without ooh and ah. Therapy.
Massage. Workout.
Boobies.
Milk babies.
Yeah. COVID-19.
Beer. Corona.
That's good. TikTok.
Stupid kids.
Those 2 words actually went together. It's like an adjective. All right, the last one. Aliens.
Real. Outside.
I'm sorry, we cut out. What was that?
I said real outside.
Real outside. All right.
Yes,
Give him a round of applause, guys. Hey, he completed Renato's twin beauties. All right.
Oh my god, dude, that was hilarious.
Congratulations.
That was an interesting one. I
Huh?
just think like aliens outside because I believe in aliens, but that was an interesting one. Like if I have time to think about when you say aliens, what the heck? I don't even know what I would say if I had time to think about it. Aliens. Oh, Area 51. I should have said that.
Kind of like, it's weird. I like this segment because it like makes you think of like word association. It's like it doesn't necessarily mean like the thing that is your favorite or how it doesn't even have to relate. Like
Right,
when
I know. Yeah, that was
you your
funny.
bathroom and you think poop or pee, it's interesting like what people think of, right?
Yeah.
I forgot.
Say it like
Actually, our guest last week, Misha, said poop also. Poop and oh, he only said poop because he only had to do one answer.
oh.
But I like these. All right. Well, you got a bunch of round of applause from people in the audience. We'll give you a round of applause too.
Guys.
We got to double check with the executive producer. Was all those answers acceptable?
Good. Yeah.
Cool. They're good. All right.
I like the milk and baby one for the boob.
I just like saying boobies. I can't even say boobies without smiling. I think Tycho wants to answer motorboat every time.
Oh really?
I played this game with Tycho. I was like, what do you think about this idea for a segment? I'll give an idea, I'll give a word, and you tell me like the first thing that comes to your mind. I said boobies, and she said she didn't even say a word. She just made noise.
Oh, that's so funny. I love that.
Oh, that's awesome. All right, so let's move on to creative talk. Okay, so we've talked a little bit about Circus. We've talked about a little bit of personal life. But one of the things that we mentioned earlier in the show was the interview show that helped kind of inspire me with this show called Mr. Within, where you went around and interviewed people. But one thing I want people to know about our guest here, Renato, is he's extremely creative. Like he's one of the people that I've seen using this time during the quarantine to like really keep productive, and like his TikTok channel is like blowing up, and even more than that is his Facebook. Now the Facebook page, you've doubled in followers over the last week, and then now you have a video with 11 million views, several videos with over hundreds of thousands of views. It's like, and it's not so much that he just threw some stuff together. It's like the way that he thinks of things and the way you create them is really intelligent, and it's not like there's a lot of creators, especially on TikTok or a lot of these like simple platforms where they just copy an idea, and even on YouTube, a lot of people will start on a trend and then everybody else will follow it. But what is really interesting and what I appreciate as creators is when you take something different or new, and the way that you're using your daughters and ways to also like your exercise videos and the way that you use them for different magic tricks that you make, that's really creative, and it's not stuff that other people can use because they don't have twins, right? So let's get into some of the creative stuff that you're into. Like right now, let's just for those of you that are interested, and I'm gonna go ahead and just put the social media right there. So you guys, I also listed them in the description of this video. So if you want to go down there, make sure you follow him. Also, any questions that you have, definitely let me know, because we're going to be asking them here shortly to Renato. But anything we don't get to on his social media, you can always DM him there. Okay, so we're going to try to get to as much as we can and in this show. But obviously, we have hundreds of thousands of people right now in the chat and the audience. We just can't get to everybody.
Sorry, guys. Sorry, guys.
But we're going to do the best we can because we care, and we really, really appreciate you guys being here. So let's start with so first of all, like, what were your inspirations when it came to like creating stuff for social media? Like, what got you into what did you start first? Was it Instagram? And then like what inspired you to get on it? Was it just because of the popularity of the whole platform, or like?
No, funny story. I have a dream. Everybody has a dream. My dream is very common, like everyone else. I've always wanted to be an actor. I've always wanted to be in the movies or TV or whatever, like especially movies, because I love movies. And I've always, my whole life, I wanted to be an actor. That's why I watch movies so much. In fact, I started collecting DVDs when DVDs first came out. I don't remember when it was, but in the early 2000s, I started collecting them. And now I have almost 2,500 DVD with the boxes, with the DVD inside of it. But anyway, so that's how it started. And, you know, I just followed. I was always up with technology. I try to be. I was always up with technology because my dad wasn't. My dad was like, why are you going to do this? Why are you going to do that? Let's just do this because it works, you know, and I love my dad so much. Okay, I'm not saying this because I don't like the man. I love my dad so much, but you know, he was always one of those, and I was like, no, man, I want to keep up. So I saved my money, and I used to do extra work. I used to sell popcorn and sell programs in between shows and make my extra money. And I bought a computer, and I learned to, you know, I don't know, a lot of people don't even know this, but back then, to download illegal music, we had something called LimeWire, and that was the hit.
Oh yeah.
Oh my God.
I remember LimeWire.
I would download all kinds of illegal music, and a movie would take you like 17 hours to download. You know, so that's how it all started. And the first video I ever made, it was just a simple trapeze video. And at those times, YouTube was already out, but we didn't really know about it, right? So we used MySpace. Right? MySpace to make a video and upload it to MySpace. And the fun thing that some people don't know, it wasn't as easy as YouTube today. You can't just put a video on it to upload. You had to encrypt it. You go to a page and you would
you had to put the code and everything that your page could.
You didn't know what was going on and all that, you know. Yeah. So I started doing that, and one thing led to another. Man, as you know me, I'm not a man. I have no shame, which is an embarrassing thing to say, but I have no shame. I'm all over the place. I'm always doing videos. 98% of the people that know me have seen me butt ass naked, just because I'm always trying to make people laugh, and that doesn't go because I like to be naked. That's just because I think it's funny in some situations like that. But you know, I'm always trying to do that, and I love Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey is my #1 idol in comedy, and one thing led to another. So I just record everything. You know, I always try to come up with an idea of like, man, this could be funny, that could be funny, this could be, you know what I mean? So the first thing was MySpace, my first video, and then it led on to YouTube. You know, and I try to match whatever that platform is. But it's hard, you know. But my inspiration for all of that was wanting to be an actor. Let's just say that. And I know you are one.
I was. Like,
I know you are. So that's pretty awesome, man. Yeah.
I failed at acting, so I went. No, actually, that's a different story. We don't have to get into that. But yeah, no. I mean, I think that's a interesting thing, and I think a lot of people who get onto social media, they think they have the same thing as they. I don't know if that they want to be actors. They just want to be famous, or they want to be known, or they want to make a lot of money. And I think like whatever your inspiration or whatever your motivation for doing it is whatever. But I think that's why a lot of these platforms get oversaturated with people just copying other people, because they all want to be seen and they all want to be famous, but they don't necessarily know the right routes to come up with their own thoughts or come up with their own ideas and creative videos or stories, or they don't want to take the time to learn how to edit or how to shoot it properly or hold the camera even right on their phone, you know. So
and all those things are hard. Keep in mind, all those things are hard, right? Just like you said, like the work behind it is like, oh man, how did you do this video? Okay, it wasn't hard, but I I sat in my couch, I watched the YouTube tutorial on how to do it. You know, I downloaded this. I spent hours to make a 30-second video. I spent hours to make a 15-second video. You know what I mean? So it's like, that's the work you got to put into it. And that's it. If you want it, do it. If not, because just like you said, everybody just wants to copy, right? Okay, they did this, I'm going to do this. I'm going to put the camera there and I'm going to do this. And it's like, okay, you can use the sound or whatever, but flip it. Be creative about it. You know what I mean?
Right.
Have a different idea, different scenario, but you got to.
Well, that's one of the things that we do, especially because we have the accessibility of our circus skills, right? So when you're doing the blinding lights dance, everybody does the same dance. We want to try and figure out a way to incorporate our skills with it, so that it is a little bit different. I mean, it's the same trend that everybody else is doing, but we make it our own through our own unique skills, and so. I mean, if you want to try and grow on social media, period, you have to follow some of the trends, because that's what people are searching, right? And they want to see, and once you become a certain level, they want to see, oh, how did Renato do the blinding lights challenge? So it's on your page, and like they'll send you all these DMs and they'll send you all these comments. Why aren't you doing this? Or we want to see what yours looks like, right? So it's like almost you kind of have to, but you still have to be creative in a way that sets your video apart from others, right?
Absolutely, yeah.
So do you have, where are your inspirations then for the creative, like the videos that you make and the ideas that you get? Are they from movies? Or are they just some funny thought? Is it like a song you hear? Like, where do the different inspirations come from?
Movies, I'd say movies for sure. Movies. And I love watching movies. So it'll just come, and just like you said, right? We have our thing, our circus thing, right? So it can be a movie, it can be a stand-up comedy, it can be whatever. And that's something I love. Like, I love stand-up comedy. I love comedy. That's my thing, man, comedy. So I love watching stand-up comedy, whatever it is, whoever it is. And every time I hear a joke, my mind, as the guy's telling the joke on the video, my mind is already processing. I'm like, okay, man, this video, this character, I start picturing different characters, right? And people started loving when I dress myself as a woman, right? I have the blonde wig and I put weird makeup on.
Right.
Because in my mind, as I'm hearing the joke, I'm like, oh my God, this character would be hilarious, right?
Right.
I could do this, I could do that. And that, keep in mind that there's no scene to it, because it's hard in a movie, because the movie already has a scene to it, right? It has a scene to that joke. You have to redo the scene. But in a joke, if somebody there telling a joke, it can be whatever you want. Right? You can put the scene to that joke. Right. And I love that. That's my favorite thing to do. My favorite thing to do is listen to a joke and put the scene to it, whatever that may be, and just come up with different things.
I liked the Despacito one, because I hadn't seen anybody do that. And then after I saw yours, I saw a few other people using different things around the house, and how they like took just that intro of the song to make their video. And that's the creative part that, like I said, that's really appreciated when looking for new things to watch, and I think those are the kind of things that set creators apart. And again, for anybody watching, like you have his social media scrolling there on the bottom, but also in the description, you guys got to check out his TikTok stuff. It's ridiculous. I have a few here I want to show. Actually, the one that I don't know if this is the one that set it off for you, that kind of get you the idea to just like go crazy on TikTok, but this one now on on Facebook has over 11 million views. And I think the thing that makes this so brilliant is that, first of all, your daughter's cute as hell. The second thing is, like, I don't think you expected the punchline to happen. Like, you had your own idea of what the punchline was, and then she created another punchline, which is
absolutely right.
I gotta show the guy, everybody watch this video. It's hilarious. Turn your sound up if you don't have it up right now, and if you're at work, turn your sound up anyway. This is hilarious. You gotta hear this. Catalina, puxa meu dedo. She's so proud. And, like, the greatest thing about that is, first of all, you're like teaching her not to be embarrassed of comedy, because it's comedy. It's not like she's at a dinner table when people are being like polite and she's like, "Hey, Dad," like blowing farts across the like restaurant. But like she's like she understands. I don't know if she understands, but she's not afraid of making a joke, and like that's awesome. That's
No,
so great.
She knows it now. She knows it now. She would do it. She would fart and just look at me. Like we'd be sitting down watching a movie, she would fart and she would look at me. And that, you know, I don't know if this is a tip or whatever for creators or whatever, but that like you said, you see, you have the creator eye, because just like you said, it was so unplanned. In Brazil, right. I guess it's a world thing, right? Pull my finger and you fart, this and that.
Yeah, every country.
For her, just for funny, because I wanted to see her reaction. Never in a million years I expected her to say pull my finger and then fart on top of that. It was the most perfect thing in the world. The funny that after that I tried to do it again. I tried to do it better. I was like, man, let's do it better because I'm gonna come closer. I try to be artistic about it.
You can't.
You can't get it. You will not get it again. It was a one thing. Pull my finger. I farted. She was like, pull my finger, and I was like, and then she very quick. It was so.
No way she had one on deck.
Dude, that was it.
Like monkey see, monkey do, right?
Yeah, that
was brilliant.
I love
it. I think I've got another one here, and actually, I like seeing. Well, I want to go also to like the production value of some of your videos. For anybody that is gonna see some of his videos, he is not a person that like knows crap about editing. He has actually spent time. He asked me a ton of questions. He went to workshops on how to make videos. He spent hours sitting on YouTube like I did, watching tutorials and learning how to do it. So actually, I saw this video and I'm playing. When I watch a video and it's got visual effects in it, I'm like, how did they do that? And I watch it back and try and figure out how to put it together, because I'm thinking, how can I also do a similar type video, but in my way, you know? And so when I see a video like the one I'm about to show, I'm like, there was actually something in there that I couldn't figure out how you did it. So I'm not going to ask you. I'm going to try and figure it out myself before. And then when I finally bust my head against the wall, like not being able to do it, then I'm going to come to you and ask what the secret was. But this one is little Harry Potter action. This one's really, because you use a couple of visual effects techniques. Like that one's hilarious. That was great. We deserve it. The crowd is laughing for that one.
It's funny because I have no shame, no embarrassment, but when I watch myself doing things like that, I'm like, what the hell were you thinking, you know? But the funny thing about that video, dude, is it's two parts to it. The first video I saw was people flying around, but they were jumping. It was like a TikTok trend, right? It was a TikTok trend when people were flapping their hands and they were flying around the house, right? So I saw that. I was like, oh, that's pretty cool. How do you do that? I sat down on my couch. I Googled how does people fly around. I learned how to do that. And then I saw people doing the Harry Potter thing, but they had a what's it called? Just a towel over it, and they would pretending to be Harry Potter, and then the husband, the boyfriend, a friend would come and remove the towel, revealing that it was all crap. You understand what I mean? So it's funny. I'm like, you're not flying on a thing for real. They're pretending to be flying on a broom. The thing about like the glasses coming to me, I saw that before because I saw people like doing their shoes. For example, like, they kick their shoes out, they reverse the video, and the shoes come in. So dude, like you said, the creator mind, I was just sitting, I was like, oh man, it would be so cool if I could put Harry Potter and the broom people flying around. How the heck do I do that? And surprising enough, it was 4 shots. I did it in 4 takes. It took me 4 tries.
Wow, that's awesome.
But before I recorded it 4 times, I rehearsed it a couple of times because everything had to be rehearsed. right? So the jumping part, I did it backwards.
Hey,
So
no, don't tell the magic. Don't tell the magic of it. Don't tell the magic.
oh shit, my bad.
I feel like I have a pretty good understanding of like the concept of it. I want to try and recreate it myself before and see how well I screw it up before I go to you, before you reveal the magic. And yeah, I just like to leave some of that excitement. There's another one. I think I told you before, Zach King. He is another.
Oh my god, yeah.
He uses like different next level VFX though, like, and he spends a lot of time in, like, he's really into all that. Like, that's a different level than just using Final Cut or Adobe. But
some things that he does, I don't know how he does it, man.
it was funny a minute ago. You say you have no shame, and it kind of brings up this funny thing. And I also want to warn my audience, if there's anybody that is a little, I don't care, whatever. If you're here watching, you know what to expect on this channel. You said you you said you were not shameful, but I have a really curious question about what's going on here. Like, what's this about? So this is apparently
that's art, man. That's art. Okay, that's art.
I don't know if we can even show this on YouTube. I hope this video doesn't get banned, but guys, enjoy it, soak it in, and now let's get to Renato's question. Tell us, Renato. I should have included that. What the hell is going on there?
Butt, man.
That's a lot of ass. That's a lot of man butt.
A friend of mine, he's a photographer, and he wanted to do this thing where he puts one person everywhere, right? He puts one person everywhere. And he's like, dude, can you come help me? And he was in Orlando, and I was like, hell yeah, dude, I want to be just give me the pictures for free. I want some professional pictures, blah, blah, blah. He's like, okay. He's like, don't worry about it. Are you okay being nude? And I'm like, duh. You know?
Right?
So he's like, okay, we're going to go into this park and we're going to walk. He's like, it's a 40-minute drive and like a 10, 15-minute walk. And we're going to go into this beautiful tree. It's a park. Nobody goes there. Nobody hikes. It's going to be awesome. And I want a picture of you trying to get to the queen in the middle. And you're going to be everywhere in the tree. So you're going to get here and I'm going to take a picture. You're going to get there and I'm going to take a picture. I'm like, dude, awesome. Let's do it. We get there. We get to the park, we walk, and he's like, okay, guys, get butt ass naked. You don't need nothing. You got to go. And I'm like, deal. I take my I start walking to the tree. The lady's already up in the tree, just sitting there as I'm climbing up. Dude, he kneeled down to the ground so I could step on his hand and knee so he could help me up the tree. But I looked down at him, and my bare ass is open. And I look, he's looking up like, are you up there? And I'm pretty sure he's looking at the right thing at that time. And I'm like, okay, all right, you know, I love you, but this is too close and personal. Like, you're grabbing my feet as this is going on. And we went up. But the funny thing is that as he was going up, I looked at him. I was like, okay, this is it. And he asked me, he was like, hey, man, are you there yet? Like, can you pull up? Because it was a trunk, right? A little piece where I could pull myself up. And I couldn't do it. When I look down, I hear some laugh. When I hear some laugh, I kind of look back, and there was a couple just walking by, pointing and saying, like, you're pointing at whoever the partner is.
Right.
This is great, man. You know, like, whatever. I stand up on the tree. Dude, those couple go. Then they come back, and there was like a, like a park, like there was some trees behind, and I can see them behind the tree, just looking like, what the hell is going on? And I was butt ass naked, climbing all over the tree for these different pictures, and we created art.
We call it art. Let's just absorb that moment just one more second, because that's art. That's
it's art, man. There's a lot of butt going on, and
that's actually a photo I wouldn't mind having of myself one day, but actually not now. Maybe about 5 years ago when I was lifting every day. But
He would ask me to do thing with my hands, so like, hey, point and be like one of those like angels with their hands, and I'm just there dangling out, trying to look at the queen or whatever, pointing my hands, butt ass naked, and people are cheering me on. So overall, it's a great experience. I'll do it again.
well, that definitely gets a giggle from the sound effects.
No, that is always hard.
Oh, so that segment where we embarrass Renato is over. These sound effects are cheesy, but hey, what do you expect? This is my low budget. This is my low budget show. Once we get in a professional studio, don't expect us to be wearing pants, but it's we'll up the production value a little bit, and our executive producer will chip in with a little bit of assistance. She'll be doing some performances, I'm sure.
Yeah.
All right, so that moves us on to our next segment where we get to ask the audience. All right, so throughout the show so far, we've had a few questions come in, and you guys can throw in some questions right now while we are doing the ask the audience. So we've had some questions for Renato since the beginning of the show, and I want to basically ask you now. So we had somebody asked earlier, what are some advice that you can give to people when learning the big tricks and trapeze?
Keep going. Like,
Keep going.
yeah, keep doing it, man. Like, when I get asked that question, and I've been asked that question personally before, like, what advice do you have when I want to do a big trick? It's like, just keep doing it. You know, like it will come eventually. Like, long story short, when I was doing the trying to be the world's first at the double and a half, I actually had people tell me, "You can't do it, dude. The trick is too heavy. You're gonna break the catcher's shoulder off. You're gonna pull on the catcher bar like that. That you're not gonna make it." And me being me, I was like, and being to my side alone, and keep working it, and it happened. So my advice for you is, if you want it, go for it. Go for it. You might have a couple of broken noses on the way. You might,
Yeah.
but it's the road, right? The same thing for trapeze and social media, like we talked about. People want to be the world's first, or accomplish a big trick in trapeze, but they don't want to get hurt. They don't want to risk it. I'm like, dude, and I'm sorry, like, I don't have advice for you. Oh, I want to be a social media expert, but I don't want to learn to edit. Then, dude, they're like,
right. I just want to blow up because I put something funny that happens every day.
Put in the work. Put in the work. Put in the work. I guess that's my advice. Put in the work for sure.
That's it. And then I would agree to that. And if I were answering the same question, thing is, you're not going to learn the big tricks overnight, and you may not learn them within a year. It just depends on like the level of how much effort you're putting into it, the amount of actual practice time that you get to do it. Because if you're only able to practice once a week for an hour, or you're practicing every day for an hour, that makes a difference on how quickly you can make adjustments. The biggest thing, and I'm learning this again right now because I'm almost 38 years old, and there are many things that I want to learn now, and I'm finding it when I was 18, 20, 25, even when I was 30. I touch something and I start to get pretty good at it really quickly. Wouldn't say I master it or I'm excellent at it, but I get to a point where I feel comfortable like saying, yeah, I can do this. And not like I'm an expert or like not professional, but I can do it, and I feel comfortable being proud of what I've done. Now I'm in this place where like I'm questioning, is this new thing for me? Is it something I should really put time into, or am I getting to a point where I don't have the confidence to, or the time to want to learn it, And I guess to answer the question that was asked earlier, as well as like in my experience that I'm going through basically right now, and she saw me today as I'm throwing crap around the backyard because I was getting upset, is that you have to put in the time. She actually said that to me too. She said, you're only training an hour a day. You need to train 4 hours a day if you want to actually learn it. And I was like, yeah, but I didn't learn it in the last 2 days. I've been practicing the same trick. I've been practicing the same trick for 2 years, but I was practicing for 30 minutes a day back then. I'm practicing an hour a day now. And granted, they're very basic tricks, but I'm pretty egotistical to think that I can learn all these tricks with no background in this particular thing in such a short period of time. So without getting into my story, and I hope like I'm not taking away from the actual question.
No, but I want to add to that question real quick, if you don't mind.
Yeah, go ahead.
Exactly what you said is like back in the day, back in Carson and Barnes, I remember the trick I was trying to do was the double double, right? I was trying to do the double double. I was a kid. My uncle was helping me. Nobody helped me set up the net. I would set up the net completely by myself. No apron in the front, no apron in the back, just the net, go up. I didn't have a raise. I would spread my leg, grab the bar, do the trick, come back, hook the bar, grab the bar again, and do the trick. So when it comes down to it, it's like, okay, I met a girl. Let me. I'm sorry, I'm gonna make this mess. I met a girl in Monte Carlo, and after we had won gold, we were at a bar and we were drinking, and she comes up to me and she's like, "Hey man, I really appreciate you, blah blah blah. I'm a fan, blah blah blah." And she's like, "I'm from the UK and I want to be a trapeze artist. Nothing has happened to me. I want to work in a circus. I want to be in the show. Nothing has happened. What do I do?" And I'm like, "Okay, what tricks do you do?" And she told me, "What do you do?" And then I asked her, I'm like, and then she told me, she was like, "My biggest dream is to do what you did, right? I want to come to Monte Carlo and I want to win gold. How do I do that?" And then I asked her, I'm like, "Okay, how long have you been flying for?" And she looked at me and she's like, "Almost 2 years. Almost 2 years." And she was like, "I'm getting ready to quit." I was mad at the moment, but also in my mind, I'm like, "Are you serious right now?" Granted, she's 22 and she's only been flying for almost 2 years, but I looked at her and I was like, "Listen, I'm generations from circus performers, right? I'm generations. I've been doing flying trapeze for 24 years. I was 4 years old when I first started. I'm 24 now. I'm 28 now. And I just came to Monte Carlo. Like, it took me 24 years. And I wasn't even dreaming about this. I was just doing my thing, right? Like, how it frustrated me for a moment, because I'm like, if you really want it, don't give up. Put in the work. Whatever has to come, it will come eventually. But you have to put in the work. So when you I don't know where I'm going with this story, but you understand what I'm trying to say, right?
Of course.
It was just like, I met her and she told me, she was like, "Hey," and then I talked to her for a long time. And I gave her advice, and she was like, "I'm gonna do it." And she's from England, and she's working. She sends me videos still, and she's working at it. So just like you said, it's like, man, put in the work. Like if you do it, it's not gonna happen overnight. It might not happen to you. For me, it didn't happen for 24 years, man. It was 24 years.
Yeah.
You know, for me to finish my career, I guess, and it is what it is.
Well, and I mean, and sometimes it doesn't happen, but the fact that you are pushing yourself to get to that goal, that's what matters. And you know, you'll never know if you don't. Like, there's only one way to find out if you're ever going to be able to do that, and that's by doing it.
There's a quote that I love so much, and say, luck happens when preparation meets opportunity.
I like that one. I've heard that one.
I'm all for that, no matter what, you know. Because I was lucky to do this. Well, I personally had opportunities before that. I'm like, "Oh man, if I did this, if I had that, that means if you were prepared and that came along." You understand? I was
exactly. And if you think about any of the opportunities that you've had in life, you likely wouldn't have been successful in any of those had you not been prepared for them.
Absolutely.
So it doesn't matter if you get if I got offered an opportunity that I'm not prepared for, it's useless because I've lost that opportunity. Anyway, moving on. We have another question. Of all the things you've done, Renato, is there one thing outside of the circus or acrobatics that you wish you could try? And what would inspire that?
Acting.
Okay.
Yeah, that's the one thing I wish I could do.
So there's many facets in acting. As you know, there's TV, film, music videos, commercials. There's soaps. There's online. There's all kinds of multimedia type of acting.
Movie.
Full-length features, short films.
Full length. I would like my idol. Okay, I told you what my favorite movie was, but my idol is Jim Carrey. I just wish I could do Ace Ventura, like something like that, like funny. I just want to be silly and I just want to be me and do one of these with my hair and go at it. I love it. I love it. So
I gotta say that the TikTok though, that one where you got pied in the face,
yeah,
that one caught me off guard. I was cracking because it was like the payoff was perfect and I wasn't expecting it. Even though I know every line from every Jim Carrey movie, he's one of my favorites too. And yeah, like I wasn't expecting that. That was really good. And
no,
like
that
you have like a little bit of that quirkiness, but like his comedic brilliance is
he's
and without getting into him, like he's his philosophical intellect is really on a different level too. And I really admire like and respect like where he thinks with a lot of that stuff.
and the funny thing is that with Jim Carrey, a lot of his movies there are parts in it that it wasn't on the script. Like
Right.
he just did it during the shoot, and I love that so much. I'm like, okay, like you brought something out that they didn't even think about. You brought it out during the shoot, So yeah, Jim
Right,
Carrey.
right. Yeah, improvisation is like
Oh yeah.
amazing. That's what leads to a lot of the like comedic gold whenever you're watching some of these movies.
But creators in general, right? Creators in general, you want to improvise, you want to do.
Well, and that's also one thing that I've learned, and I've talked with Tycho when we're making videos. Even if I'm doing a take, or if I'm like, okay, we're gonna redo, like we're gonna try and get this shot just right, keep it rolling, because even after, sometimes the funniest things happen, and even if you don't just use them for anything but a blooper reel, it's still fun to have those.
Absolutely,
right?
absolutely.
So his answer is he wants to be an actor.
I want to be a comedy actor in a movie for sure. There's a question here that I would like to answer later. I don't have to answer it right now, but I want to answer that question.
How many years of training before you're on the big stage?
No, I didn't see that.
Is there a question that just came up that I haven't answered? I didn't write it down yet.
Has Renato ever tried stand-up comedy?
Oh, yeah. Do you want to answer that now?
I don't have to, but I would like to answer.
Well,
that.
it's been tagged now. It's on the screen, so you have to answer it.
Okay. Has Renato ever started going? No, but I'm working on it right now.
All right. Do you have any material you want to test out on the audience?
Nope.
Have a laugh track. Don't worry.
No. I don't have any material yet, but that because it started very recently. But a very close friend of mine reached out to me, and he's like, "Man," and the funny thing is that I've known this person. We lived together in Newburgh for 5 years, and he brought me some jokes. He's like, "Dude, I remember when you say this. I remember when this happened." And just like Kevin Hart for me, the stand-up comedy is Kevin Hart. In Brazil, there's this guy called Whindersson Nunes. He's the Brazilian Kevin Hart. Anyway, yeah. Up to both of those guys. And he came up to me. He's like, "Dude, they are telling stories of their real lives or their lives, right? And they're putting a comedy twist to it. And I think you should do it. So from now on, I just want you to start writing jokes and put a twist to it and send me the video of each individual joke." So I've been doing it. I've been writing jokes. I record myself telling the joke with a little bit of twist to it, and I send it to. And there's not a lot. I think right now there's like 3 or 4. There's not many, but yes. I'm actually working on it. I've never done stand-up comedy, but I'm working on it really hard in Portuguese and in English. I'm putting a twist to it, and that's one of. I think that would be like
another avenue.
Comedy. It will lead the way. Let's just put it that way. You know? Yeah.
I find it very amazing whenever you talk to a comic and you find like, where did this joke come from? Like, because jokes you don't just look at a wall and you're like, come up with a joke. Usually it's based on something that happened in your life, and
absolutely.
So that's the coolest thing is when you hear like a joke and you think it's hilarious, but then you think about it, there's some sense of reality behind that joke, and you're like, I feel really bad for that person. Or back to the other question, how many years of training before you were on the big stage? For all of us, we'll start with you since you're our guest.
Question. Oh, for all of you, how many years of training before you're on the big stage? It depends on how you call big stage, right? So if let's put Cirque du Soleil. Cirque du Soleil was a huge stage for me, and I got into that in 2012. I started my professional performance at 4, so whatever the math of that is, I don't know, 18 years, whatever. How long is that? You're better at math than I am, but that's how many years?
73.
73 years. What?
I'm not here to do math.
But yeah, okay. So I started my professional performance at 4 years old in 1995, and I got into Cirque Du Soleil in 2012. So I don't know,
So
whatever.
we're calling the big stage. Yeah. So that long. Tycho, how many years were you training before you got onto the big stage? And we'll say the big stage was Pop Circus because that's the only stage you've worked on so far.
Yeah.
Which is a huge stage. I know a lot of people.
It's the biggest circus in Japan.
Absolutely, yeah.
Realistically.
Yeah, I am working on that.
So how many years were you training before that? No, 6 months. You were training in China.
China, 3 year.
About 3 years.
Yeah.
Okay, so 3 years for Tycho, and for me, I started trapeze in 2008, and my first professional job was 2014. So that's 6 years. But I was training trapeze, and I never worked as a trapeze artist in that first job. So I got hired as a trapeze artist, but I ended up riding a motorcycle on a high wire for the whole year and a half that I was on that job. So it was another thing I got to learn. But
But you were a performer. You were a
I
performer.
yeah. So on that stage, which was which was cool. That I would guess we'd say 6 years for me.
Yeah.
So there's that. I think that did you hear about the one? I don't think we have any more questions. Did I miss any questions? If I did, I apologize.
I don't know. I missed a lot of the comments, man. There was a lot of people writing stuff, and I got so caught up talking to you and being into it that I missed some of the questions.
I do want to say hello to Noah. Noah's been here throughout the whole chat. He wanted to say hi, and he's been asking, and we haven't had a chance to say hello. But nice to see you here, Noah. Thank you for joining us. So I guess that will conclude this segment of Ask the Audience. Yay! Congratulations! Round of applause.
I love the sound effects. So
I really wish I had like a whole production team that could help me with those, because I've got notes here, I've got my script here, I've got the sound effects here, I've got my fake coffee mug.
The sound thing. I thought Tycho was gonna do the sound.
I thought she was gonna do something, but
you gotta feel the moment and press.
You know what these mean, right?
And do your thing, bro.
Yeah,
All right, here we go. Tycho's now our sound effects person. Now that we're in the last segment of our show.
Can you tell who's on here or no? How do we tell that?
Who's watching?
Yeah.
Right now we have 7,832 people watching. So leave us a check mark in the chat right now if you're watching. Also, be sure to hit the like button. Thank you so much. All right, for our moderator, Jackie Hero in the house. She has been an awesome moderator, making sure that none of the vulgar comments have been listed in the chat room, because although we like to answer those kind of things have been known to get the video flagged and taken down off of YouTube. So we don't want that.
Nope.
We definitely appreciate you guys all being here. I had a question about my mug. This is not an Eric Surf. That is a egotistical mug, because
you had hair.
That was back when I had hair. Actually got this on my birthday.
Nice.
There we go.
Yeah, Tycho.
So,
dude. Yeah.
All right, you earned your paycheck, honey. All right, ooh, okay. So that brings us to the last segment of the show. It is basically, we've already talked about like what's happened with your career. I mean, you've gone everywhere. Actually, I didn't show this yet. I want to show everybody. This is like,
wait,
I put in the thumbnail. He is a world record holder, and we haven't even really discussed anything about this. But so just for anybody that doesn't know, that is not from around, doesn't understand trapeze or doesn't know trapeze, this trick, Renato is the only person in the history of flying trapeze to ever catch it. And in the chat earlier was Justin Tchaikovsky. He's the catcher in this video. These guys are two of my idols in trapeze, like, and I'm lucky to be friends with them. But this is really incredible. So what you're going to see here is he is going to do 2 flips, 2.5 flips, and 2 twists. So, like, if you can't keep up with your eyes, don't feel bad. Nobody else in the world can either, except for Justin. So This is the only person in the world to ever do this ever in the history of 190 years of trapeze. And this is a video from Monte Carlo, which again, for people who aren't familiar with this, is Monte Carlo is like the Super Bowl for circus. Circus has festivals all around the world, but the Monte Carlo Circus Festival is the biggest, where all the most prestigious acts, the most prestigious show producers, directors, agents, everybody from around the world come to watch in Monaco, right? And they only invite the best of the best. So not only are you going to be able to see him do something that nobody else in the world did, but right next to him is Ahmed, the other guy we were talking about, and he completed a quadruple somersault, which again, very few people in the history have ever done that. So to have these two tricks back to back in the show, it's no wonder these guys, they won the Golden Clown, which is the highest award you can ever earn as far as being recognized in circus. So without me talking anymore, let's watch. And it's playing. And it's not playing. Wah, 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 wah. What's going on here?
No, that's your move.
The billboard.
That was Tycho's moment right there, dude.
Oh, what's going on? Oh, here we go. Okay, here we go. Enough suspense. So there's a long, suspenseful buildup, of course. Clapping. Hey!
Bravo.
So I think that goes without saying. That's definitely like the highlight of his career and the achievement. Like we kind of went over that earlier, but I apologize if the buffering took a little bit. And I'm so sorry, guys. If you want to watch that live, there's some videos on your Instagram, right?
Yeah.
I'm sure you have tons of them. Also, guys, if you follow him on Instagram, the guy, he puts up like 900 different Instagram stories every day, so you can always see what's happening in the guy's life. He's like his own reality show. So if you think about it on Instagram, you'll be able to see everything that's going on there. Yeah, if not, I actually probably put it on my Instagram at one point. I have a TikTok video. One of my first TikTok videos that went over a million, the actual first one that went over 1 million views was this video when they were training in Las Vegas. And it was really cool for me to be able to see the process of how many times they miss and how many times they just keep going, how bloody the catcher's hands were, how scraped up Renato's legs were from missing and going into the net. It was like just carnage. And yet they kept going up there. And like after a week of being there, I saw only a handful of catches. But like my point is like just to see like the process of that. And I hope I captured that in the TikTok. And I think that's why it got over 1 million views right away. But in any case, it's just incredible. So for you guys that are in the chat, you guys are here with us live. I wouldn't call him a legend right now because he's still working, but he definitely will be one of the people that a lot of people look up to and a lot of people will try to emulate.
The message that you sent on that TikTok video that you're talking about was awesome because it was reality, right? We were trying it over and over again. So the video that you posted was like, once you fail, boom, try it again and again and again and again until you accomplish it. So I think the message behind the actual video is the best part of it. It's like, hey man, you're not gonna do this. And you're gonna
especially because in circus, especially in trapeze, if you guys search trapeze videos or you see a lot of trapeze videos, you're always going to see successful videos or you're going to see like really bad bloopers. You never really get to see the process because a lot of times we don't like to share the process because one of the process is our private life. It's our private struggle. And for me, myself personally, I don't like to share that with anybody unless it has accumulated to such an achievement that we can feel proud of, you know?
Yeah.
And so that's why I didn't really want to share like your struggle because that's you guys' personal struggle. But the payoff was the actual accomplishment, and the fact that like nobody else in the world can do it. So
Yes,
it's pretty
yes,
amazing to be able
yes.
to show.
I'm really
Yeah,
excited about the next person.
like I say,
Really
it's
am.
pretty amazing to be able to show people like how far you were in the day, and then like by the end of it, you're catching. And these videos, I think it was all in the same day. All the video I put together, and
Yeah.
it's a really amazing progression to get to see how that.
You were sitting on top of a trailer, man. You were
I
sitting
was.
on a trailer
And
there.
you know what? I was trying to decide, do I do a vertical or do I do a horizontal? Because I know I want to have this footage, but I also want to share it with you guys, and I want to have it in slow motion. Do I want to have it for TikTok and Instagram, or do I want it for YouTube? Like,
Yeah.
and how are you? I mean, because it's
Yeah.
not even my accomplishment; it's your guys' accomplishment. And I want you guys to have the footage of it also. So I was like, shoot, what are they gonna want? And like, don't screw up the video. Don't shake your hands and everything. So.
Funny.
So yeah, so moving on, we've gone through all that stuff. I shared your accomplishments. We talked about the embarrassing moments. We talked about your life, your girls, your twins, your creative as everything we've gone over so far. But one thing that a lot of people ask, especially of circus people, because there is usually a finite amount of time you can do circus for before your body or before other obstacles such as quarantine take you out of it, whether it's temporary or permanently. What do you plan to do, or what do you hope to do when your circus performing career is over?
Act.
So so is that, I know you were saying that before, but is that something that you're actively right now trying to like, okay, so you're building a reel and you're like getting that started.
Working on it. Definitely.
Okay.
Definitely. That was like you said, right? Like earlier you said that during this quarantine time being locked in, I'm working on my productivity. Is that even a word?
Productivity, yeah.
Okay, so I'm working on my productivity and I'm making it. And I don't know, man. I don't know how to explain. I just like, okay, I'm locked inside the house. I'm not doing nothing. I'm just going to sit here and stand at the wall. I'm going to do what I've always wanted to do, period. That's it, dude. I read books on it. And it's funny because I posted stories on my Instagram of people saying like, why are you reading books on acting? Why don't you just go to LA on audition? And I'm like, man, I'm just following my own road right now. Whatever happens, happens. But I'm following my dream and I'm happy about it. I'm making dreams. I'm auditioning. I'm doing videos. And the awesome part is Instagram. Like I get a huge feedback from Instagram. These people made me a fan page and they made a WhatsApp group and they're helping me with all these shows. And it's awesome because I believe some people don't, but I believe it's like you can't do it on your own, right? You always need a team. Like you need that person, whether it's a video. Like right now, my group of people that I follow, well, it's not mine, but a group of people that I follow is like King Batch and Amanda Cerny and Anwar and all these people that has a group of people. So they have the muscle, the funny, the cute, the you know what I mean, the geeky kind of team there.
Right.
So I love that. So in the WhatsApp group of these fan people that created for me, they're always helping. Like, okay, I know this person and I know that person. I know this person. I'm like, okay, my job now is to learn to act because it's hard to act. It really is. People think it's like, hey, I can just be me. Turn the camera on and I'll be me.
Yeah.
You know more than I do. You know, you can correct me at any point you want because the person I will listen to is you because you've done it before. And from my experience so far, it's hard, man. You know, it is. People think turn on the camera and I'm going to be funny. I'm going to tell a joke and I'm going to be hilarious. And I'm like,
it's a different thing because like people's personality. And this is something actually that I got a lot of good feedback when I first started vlogging was that my actual personality wasn't showing up on camera. And that's one thing that like attracts some people to me or not, whatever. But like when I put the camera in front of my face, I'm now producing, directing, thinking of editing, and I'm doing all these things that I'm not being me. So whether or not I'm holding the camera, there's this natural thing that I think a lot of people have, which was what makes acting difficult. Not just this part, but this is one of the parts is that when somebody puts a camera in front of you, you have this natural tendency to think, what does my image look like? And so it's not about being natural, and so people immediately like they began to put off the image that they want to be seen, right?
Oh no, yeah,
So,
yeah. I know what
so
you mean.
it makes acting hard. And then when you're thinking about playing a role,
Yeah.
I mean, being yourself and being funny, that's easy because you already know how to do that. But real acting comes when you're taking the emotional traits of a character, you're taking the characteristics of that character, and you're playing that in short 5 to 20-second takes, 15, 20 times from different camera angles. Sometimes the camera is right here in your face. And you have to give that same emotion, that same feeling. And so it's not just about like, oh, you'd be a great actor because you have a good look or because you are funny. You know, there's I mean, and I think that's, if I'm being honest with myself, I think that's one of the things that was extremely difficult for me and why I didn't last very long is because I can't stay mentally in that moment for the period of time that these great actors like to have that emotion and to be into that character that for that amount of time while they're changing cameras, whatever. It's extremely difficult. So that's acting is not just being funny. It's not just being able to cry on camera. There's a lot that goes to it. And I'm glad that you're taking this time to create your own stuff because I think we're in an age and a generation where you can create your own content and you can become a star or you can become an actor or you can transition out of what you're doing now into becoming an actor. Whereas before you had to have an agent, you had to go to auditions, you had to hope and get lucky, you had to know somebody or blow somebody. And like now with all the different platforms, you can create basically a whole reel of what you're capable of doing, your creativity.
And not just real, but people are creating short movies.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
People are creating short movies that I watch. And the same thing that we were talking about before, like it takes me hours to do a 15-second video. These dudes are making like a 5 to 10 minute movie, right? There's a storyline to it, beginning to end. And exactly what you're saying, the camera here, the camera there, and the dudes in it, there's a story about like there's a really cool story that I like and it's hilarious. It's Anwar. He's a social media creator and he does like a cheating on my barber. He cheats on his barber and he gets pissed off. Anyway, I just find that amazing because the shots, the cameras, the view, the storyline, I'm like, dude, you did that on your own, walking around shooting cameras from different views. Like you said, in my case, when I shoot my videos, I'm locked inside my house by myself, right? So I put the camera here and I shoot. Then I put the camera here and I shoot again with the same expression and the same idea.
Exactly. Right.
And that's the hard part. Yeah. Yeah. I completely understand.
You're doing 15 to 20-second clips. Imagine doing a long, intense, whatever. We don't have to get into the depths of like what it means to be an actor, but there are many things. And I the work ethic that you've displayed with what you do in trapeze, what you've done in circus, and the way that you're going about just making your videos, learning the editing, I'm sure you're probably learning where to set the cameras, the best angles, how to, the 180 rule, all these things that your work ethic is going to allow you to achieve those things. And those are also the things that I think are important for people to know is that not only can you just be born with certain skills and abilities or opportunities, like you actually have to do some legwork. You have to do some research if you want to do anything,
Yeah, absolutely.
I want to thank you guys. I want to thank everybody that came and everybody that's been watching, everybody in the chat. Thank you guys so much for keeping this show going. We have an awesome guest next week. It's a big surprise, but I'll be posting it over the weekend on social media. So be sure to check in. Be sure to follow us on all of the social media. I have all of Renato's links listed in the description below. If you're watching the replay, thank you guys for watching all the way to the end. I hope you leave me a comment down in the bottom of this video. Let me know what your favorite segments were. Let us know what stuff you liked and didn't like, because as this show is starting to progress, every week I'm going to try and incorporate something new or modify the things that we're doing, because I want to make sure it's still entertaining for the whole time. I originally planned for it to be a 1-hour show, but we get talking, we have fun, and we catch on memories and stuff. Now it's already 2 hours. 2 hours. So for those of you that have been here from the beginning, for the last 2 hours, thank you guys so much. Thank you, Jackie. I think you're the only mod that was in the room today. Thank you so much. Critical Eats was also here. Thank you guys for helping monitor all the comments and stuff. Guys, before you leave, be sure to hit a like on the video, because that helps YouTube know to share this to more people so we can keep this show going. We can get a bigger production budget so we don't have to use these soundboards here and these stage lights and
And subscribe. Don't forget to subscribe to the channel because we're gonna be doing a lot more fun things.
Oh yeah, of course. So Renato, stay on the line. Don't hang up. We're gonna say goodbye to everybody in the chat. Hope you guys have a great night or morning, depending on where you're at. That's it.
Taiko with
Good night. Go be awesome.
Taiko, you need some wings to the heart, right? So you can like
Yeah, right.
fly around. Yeah, there you go. There you go.
All right. Good night, everybody.
Good night.